looking at the expensive part of refuse handling. Long, protracted round trips to distant disposal areas, made with trucks designed for relatively short hauls. The toll is great in tires, in gasoline, in maintenance and depreciation, but most of all in manpower. One man on containerized systems, several men where residential collection routes are involved. How did our hauls to the disposal area get so long? Easy. We did it to ourselves. Once disposal areas were convenient, nearby, in easy economical range of our short-range trucks. But then we decided to have ourselves an urban and suburban population explosion. Sanitary landfills were closed and moved out in stages as our cities grew. Until today, we have ourselves a major problem. What are the solutions? There are several. The relatively short-range trucks need one or several centrally located dumping stations a short distance from the initial collection areas. These dumping stations can be of three types. An incinerator where the material is burned with the ashes and unburnables hauled to the disposal area. A grinding station where the volume of most of the material is reduced by mechanical grinding, then loaded into trucks for the disposal area haul. And the transfer station, where material is hydraulically compacted into reinforced over-the-road trailers which make the run to the sanitary landfill. The incinerator is the oldest and most frequently found system to beat the long-haul problem. However, recent public outcry against air pollution has brought stiffer new government controls on operational standards at the national, state, and local levels. This has resulted in close-downs and expensive rebuilding programs. In light of the changing regulations, an incinerator that might meet the standards today could find them raised beyond its capabilities tomorrow. Other disadvantages of the incinerator include the necessary expense of supplemental burning fuel on some types, the need to separate the material between burnables and unburnables, protracted downtimes when grates, chambers, and other components must be rebuilt or replaced, the need to haul away residue left after the burning process, and expensive technical operating personnel. The grinding principle is in its infancy and is an enlightened concept. However, it requires strict and expensive segregation of materials before the grinding process can begin. More basic research is necessary before it can be determined if this development is economically feasible for large operations. The transfer station packing principle offers advantages not found in other systems. First, no segregation or sorting of the refuse is necessary. Anything that goes in a packer truck or a containerized system can be handled by the station. Wet garbage, cardboard, cans, bottles, metal, wood dunnage, industrial waste, and scrap plastic. Then it is a high-speed, almost unlimited system with a superior materials handling arrangement that permits a large number of dump facings for the collection trucks. The powerful transfer packer compacts the material tightly for maximum payloads in the big capacity transfer trailers for economical long-haul trips to the sanitary landfill. Dempster has the capability to design the entire transfer system to fit the present and future needs of any industry, private hauler, or municipality. But let's take a look at the operational principles of a typical Dempster transfer station installation in the form of this model. The particular installation features two transfer packers, several transport trailers, two push pits, an exclusive Dempster feature, which increase the efficiency of the transfer station by allowing up to 8 trucks to dump simultaneously. This eliminates costly delays for collection trucks and crews which would otherwise wait to dump during peak traffic periods. A control center with a clear view of all operations. An ample dumping area with a large number of truck facings, all housed in an attractive building. The trucks back up to the push pit and dump their loads of refuse. This hydraulic push plate moves the material down the pit until it reaches the opening where it falls down into the charging box of the Dempster transfer packer. A hydraulic packer plate then pushes the material with tremendous force into the body of the Dempster transport trailer, where it is flattened and compacted to a fraction of its former volume. Let's take a look at this compaction function. After the refuse is in the charging box of the Dempster transfer packer, the packer head, activated by a powerful hydraulic cylinder, pushes the material into the body of the Dempster transport trailer. Initially, there is no resistance to the material, and there is no compaction, only movement of the material. But as the body fills, the tremendous force of the transfer packer flattens and compacts the material until the big, over-the-road unit is packed with an almost solid load of material. This high rate of compaction means that the transport trailer carries the contents of many collection trucks on each trip to the disposal area, at travel costs only slightly higher than each of the individual trucks would incur. At the disposal area, the transport trailer empties itself of material by action of the hydraulically powered ejection blade, which moves to the rear of the trailer, pushing the compacted refuse out of the open rear door. One of the most outstanding features of the Dempster transfer station is its extreme flexibility. It can be used under a simple ramp or under a complex building. It can be a one-unit installation with 2 transport trailers or multiple packer units with many trailers. It can be an auxiliary unit to an overworked incinerator accommodating unburnables or frequent overflows. It can be underground or above ground. But what is the Dempster transfer system like in actual practice? In the city of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, one Dempster transfer station handles the entire refuse output of the municipality and 6 surrounding townships, a metropolitan population of 150,000. The area was once plagued with a number of small and unsightly dump grounds which were finally closed. Eventually, a model 215-acre landfill was established 17 miles west of Lancaster. The Lancaster transfer station is in an industrial zone near the center of the refuse generation area, with good access to an arterial street. A state highway lies less than a mile away. The installation consists of 2 push pits with hydraulic push blades, 2 Dempster transfer packers, and several 65 cubic yard Dempster transport trailers, all housed in an attractive metal building. The transfer station is a self-financing project under the Lancaster Refuse Authority and the management of Jack Lausch, who assisted in the development of the station. Fees paid by users are liquidating the investment and operation expenses. Trucks of private refuse haulers and area industries are weighed as they enter and leave to determine the amount of fee for each load. Inside, they back up to one of the 2 push pits. The tremendous speed and volume with which the material is moved by the blade clears the pit for more and more dumping capacity. This means that at peak periods, more trucks can be handled without waiting or delay. This gets them back on their collection routes quicker, saving time and labor. For this reason, this installation handles over 300 trucks per day with ease. Material that has been dumped into the push pits is moved to the charging box by action of the hydraulic push blades. This eliminates the necessity of a conveyor or overhead crane. The material falls down and into the charging box of the Dempster transfer packer. Here, a powerful hydraulic cylinder and packer plate push the material into the 65 cubic yard Dempster transport trailer, which is automatically locked to the transfer packer. The packer plate travels well inside the trailer for better compaction, and to keep material well away from the door when the trailer is released from the transfer packer. When the transport trailer is tightly packed with a big payload of refuse, it begins its 17-mile journey to the sanitary landfill, carrying the contents of many smaller trucks. Almost immediately, an empty trailer is backed to the transfer packer, and locked in place. The first trailer makes its way easily through traffic and hits the state road where it attains normal tractor-trailer speeds. In a short time, the trailer pulls into the sanitary landfill area and makes its way to the dump site. It is backed into position and the rear door is opened. In the cab, the driver activates the hydraulic ejection blade inside the trailer, which moves to the rear, pushing the compacted refuse clear of the body. Soon the trailer is on its way back to the transfer station for more storage and transport service. This then is the Dempster transfer station concept, the system that pays for itself by permitting one trailer unit to do the work of many trucks. The system that saves time, saves payroll, handles any amount of material, any number of trucks, getting them back on collection routes quickly. The system that can be totally designed for any application by Dempster consultants and engineers. The Dempster Transfer Station System.
This is Detroit, automobile capital of the world. Most likely, the family car in your garage came from one of these gigantic plants. Yes, everything is big and busy in Detroit. And like all big cities, busy cities, Detroit has its share of problems in the environmental areas of air pollution, water pollution, and in solid waste disposal. But like many progressive cities, Detroit is doing something about its problems. And one of their greatest areas of progress is in the storage, collection, and handling of solid wastes. The solid waste problem, or garbage and refuse disposal problem, grew as Detroit grew. Once disposal areas, dumps and landfills were close to the major refuse generation points, and the hauls to these nearby disposal locations were short and easily handled by conventional, short-range refuse collection trucks. However, as the city grew, disposal sites were moved further and further out, and the hauls grew more and more expensive due to heavier expenditures for driver labor, gas, oil, tires, and maintenance, plus more idle time for collection crews. Detroit was soon faced with the problem of establishing a transfer area where refuse could be brought by these short-range collection trucks and then be reloaded into longer-range vehicles for the lengthening haul to distant disposal sites. After much study, a site was located near the Southfield, Plymouth area. This rudimentary transfer system was put into service, and initially resulted in substantial transportation savings for the municipality. The operational plan was relatively simple. Conventional rear-loading packer trucks and other collection vehicles brought their loads to the transfer point and dumped the material onto the ground. As the material accumulated, a large and very busy front-loading tractor pushed the material into a mountainous pile. To carry the material on the long haul to the disposal area, a fleet of combination dump trucks and dump trailers was employed. The tractor plunged into the mountain of refuse and transferred big loads into the long-haul units. After a few passes by the tractor, the trailers were fully loaded and covered with tarpaulins to prevent blowing and littering en route to the disposal area. Even with some drawbacks, this rudimentary transfer system did effect savings over the old method of sending short-range collection trucks to the disposal areas. Because of these savings, the city of Detroit continued this system for some years. As time passed, the drawbacks of the installation began to emerge. Since this was a 5-day operation, the huge mountain of garbage was left almost unattended in the evenings and over weekends, attracting rats and scavengers which spread to nearby neighborhoods. The brisk Detroit breeze was also a nuisance and scattered the refuse far and wide. And the prospect of fire hazards was an added discomfort to the neighbors. More important, operational people were becoming concerned about the cost of the system, which was more expensive than had been anticipated. While the trailers were hauling huge volumes of material, it was uncompacted, light and loose, and actual tonnage carried was extremely low. This low tonnage resulted in many extra trips to the disposal areas. A study by Dempster Consultants, AIDS, a Detroit-based refuse hauling company, and the Detroit Department of Sanitation revealed that substantial savings could be made by converting to a new system. Several concepts were considered before the field was narrowed to a transfer system that embodies the principle of compaction, a transfer packer transport trailer installation. This system is based on a hydraulic packer which pushes the loose, bulky material into an enclosed trailer. As the trailer fills, the hydraulic packer plate crushes and compacts the material to a fraction of its former volume, assuring big payloads on every trip to the disposal area. Investigation proved that the system was not only practical, but flexible as well, and could be tailored to fit almost any situation by the addition of packers and trailers to meet the need for additional volume. And comprehensive cost studies revealed that the system was economical enough to amortize its own cost, and eliminated the necessity of building multi-million-dollar incinerators with their many pollution problems. After study, the decision was made by the city government to construct an enclosed transfer station with dumping bays to accommodate 6 trucks at one time. This would assure high-speed turnaround so that the vehicles could empty their loads without delay and get back on their collection routes, without excessive loss of manpower for drivers and standing idle time for loading crews. Each of the 6 dumping bays and their material chutes would be located over a hydraulic transfer packer which pushes and compacts the refuse into 6 trailers locked onto the packers. To accommodate the high volume of refuse, a total of 34 75 cubic yard trailers was initially required, some loading, some traveling, and some in reserve. To reduce the capital investment, it was decided that the new transfer station operation be a joint operation between the city of Detroit, which would build the building and install the packer units, and AIDS Industrial Disposal, an independent private refuse hauler, which would purchase, operate, and maintain the trailers on a ton-mile hauling contract. After an in-depth study, city officials agreed to the plan, and an agreement was signed. To upgrade the appearance of the neighborhood, Detroit began erecting a tastefully designed steel, concrete, and brick building to house the new transfer facility near the old refuse transfer yard. A concrete ramp for the transfer trailers was built down to the area below the dumping bays. Here, 6 Dempster transfer packers were installed to receive the refuse from the collection trucks. Behind each Dempster packer, a hydraulic power unit was installed. The trailer selected is the Dempster 75 cubic yard transport trailer, also available in a 65 cubic yard model. The body is reinforced to withstand the high internal pressures generated during packing operations. The ejection or pusher plate is hydraulically powered and is moved by a telescopic cylinder and the remote power unit on the tractor. It moves the material to the rear and out of the trailer body quickly and cleanly. The transport trailer and packer system boasts many features, one of which is its locking device, which automatically engages and holds it securely to the packing unit while the trailer is being packed. Upstairs, the dumping bays are built to accommodate 6 trucks at a time, with chutes which receive the material from the collection vehicles. The refuse falls down the chute and into the packers below. With its high-speed cycle, the packer requires only 90 seconds to move the contents of a 20-yard collection truck into the transport trailer. The completed transfer station is a model of cleanliness and efficiency. Trucks enter the area and proceed to the transfer building. The trucks are driven in, dump their loads of refuse, and quickly move out to return to their collection routes. The refuse is gravity-fed into the charging box of the Dempster transfer packer. This high-speed cycle accommodates a large number of trucks in a matter of minutes, loading the material into the trailer faster than the trucks can dump their loads. On the lower level, the Dempster transfer packers push the contents of many collection trucks into each big capacity trailer. 3 control booths give the transfer station controllers full view down into the chutes and of approaching and departing trucks. Here, the control consoles act as a nerve center for the entire operation. The tractor backs into the loaded trailer. The units are coupled. The trailer is released from the packer and pulled clear. The rear door is closed and locked, and a load of tightly packed, completely enclosed refuse is ready for the long trip to the disposal area. As the full trailer leaves, an empty trailer is backed into position and is automatically locked to the transfer packer, ready to store the contents of several collection trucks. The loaded trailer now departs, moves swiftly through traffic, and soon reaches a main artery where it travels at fast highway speeds. Some 30 miles and 45 minutes later, the tractor and trailer arrive at one of the 2 landfill areas being used. Here the trailer moves to the dump site. Inside the trailer, the hydraulically operated ejection plate moves back, ejecting the tightly packed refuse. The material is tightly packed and bridges between the trailer and the ground. When the trailer is empty, the rear door is closed and it begins its trip back to the transfer station for more storage and transport service. In this one transfer station, hundreds of truckloads of material are deposited daily, with the trailers hauling all of it to the disposal area. The savings are tremendous, so much so that the city is planning other transfer installations. Gone are the unsightly, smelly garbage heaps, blowing litter, rats and scavengers. The neighbors like and are proud of their new transfer station. But happiest of all are the municipal officials of Detroit, who know that the savings are so large that they will pay for the new installation in a very short time. Yes, Detroit is a big city, a busy city, but never too busy to stop and find solutions to its problems. Dempster Brothers is proud of its role in working hand in hand with Detroit's planners to tailor this advanced system of refuse handling to the needs of this progressive city.